All right, welcome everyone to the Wednesday, October 19th meeting here at SCTI, which we try to do once a year. It's the first time in 3 years, I believe, that we've been down here. And it's always nice to come back here and take a look at the place and renew our acquaintances and listen to the students who are enthusiastically telling us about the programs. So always a treat. So would you please join me in opening exercises?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and Jessica.
Don Castellano,
Here.
Willard Delaker,
Here.
Joseph Fatzinger,
Present.
Todd Hernandez,
Here.
Becky Height. Here. Lauren Hutzinger. Here. Todd Leiser,
Here.
Rachel Scheffler, Jennifer Cenobitis. Here.
Thank you. And from there, we will go to approval of the agenda, which we have on our devices. And I would entertain a motion to go with that agenda, with one exception. And that would be to move our friends from our foundation up to the beginning of the meeting. We'll put them here. And also Mrs. Spitzel, which is back at 7.02 for the foundation report. We'll move that up just in front of the recognitions. That's okay with it.
So moved.
Mr. Fatzinger.
Second.
Second by Mr. Weiser. Comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. And we have an agenda. And I would, the chair will recognize any updates to the Phillies game here tonight.
7-4.
7-4.
They're losing.
So, welcome. And at this time, we would offer courtesy of anyone who would like to address the board this evening before we get started. Offer courtesy before we do the beginning and at the end of our meetings. We'll move on to approval of the minutes. We have 4 minutes from September 21st and from the workshop on October 5th.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Fatzinger,
Second.
second by Dr. Hunsaker. Comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And that motion carries. We begin to recognition and presentations. Yeah. We'll do the foundation first. Okay, that's the only thing.
So I am happy, I am happy to introduce DJ Wilbur Jimenez, as well as Valerie Kyle. They are here tonight because there was a changeover in leadership. I will certainly turn it over to them. And Valerie is the new president of Northwestern Lehigh Education Foundation. DJ, as you know, has been the prior president, has been here many times. And so I will turn it over to them for anything they'd like to share about the reorganization or about upcoming events, one of which is coming on Sunday.
Yes, so thank you for the consideration. Appreciate you guys moving it up for us. Greatly appreciate it. And we will not send any texts with regards to if the Phillies aren't doing well. So as Jennifer had indicated at the beginning of the month, I stepped down as president, and Valerie is the newly elected president of the foundation, which we're really excited about, as well as a few other officer positions. I think Aaron is the vice president now, Aaron Vermeulen. We have Jill, who's still the secretary, as well as Michael Carnati, who is still the treasurer. So really excited, not only about the fresh new leadership that we have, but also because of a lot of the things we have going on right now. We have our event coming up, our 12th annual sporting clay event, which some of you are participating in. There's one of my teammates right there. Excellent. And we actually already have a full field already signed up, which is really exciting. And it's always a fun event. We are expecting this to be the third record amount of money coming in for our events this year. Each event this year has raised a record amount of money, which is very exciting. We just heard this week that one of our major sponsors, Nutrapoli Bank, is re-enlisting their EITC again this year. So we're moving very strongly into having another very, very strong year, very similar to what we had last year. I know Val's going to highlight a few programs we have on, because I think that, you know, what we're all about is not only trying to be successful every year, but trying to expand that success and challenge ourselves. And I think that this new group of leadership has some wonderful ideas that they're going to be implementing that I know Val will expand on.
So just a couple of new and exciting things for 2022, 2023. We've started a student ambassador program in partnership with the district, staff advisory committee. So a group of teachers and staff that will be advising us as well. We have a new event coming February 25th. So early plug to save the date for our cornhole tournament. So we have been kind of lacking on the family front in terms of family friendly events, and this will be a really good opportunity. And recently we've launched Tiger Takeovers, lovingly called Tiger Takeovers. Hopefully every month we'll be featuring a local business in the area, supporting their business, and in turn they're turning around and making a donation. So our next event for that takeover will be at North River Brewing Company on December 9th. And then just a quick plug for all of the success. Hopefully this year will be our goal this year is to surpass 2 million. Very achievable. So record breaking year for us. Yeah, and so yeah, super excited for the future of the foundation.
Thank you. Dan, would you like to add anything?
No, they took care of everything tonight.
Got it?
I appreciate that.
Well, thank you for being here, and it's a privilege, it's a blessing that we have you guys in our district and all the things that you do for us. And you know, just to recognize you guys in this building, in this school, a couple of things that make this area and our district as good as we are, and you're a big part. Thanks for coming tonight. Anything else? Okay. Move right into the president's report. I really don't have much to say other than welcome and DJ and yeah, Valerie. Thank you for coming tonight and all you do for this district. It's a pleasure to have you here with us tonight. Best wishes to you. This school has a long history with Northwestern Lehigh. Just celebrated its 50th anniversary, I think 2 years ago, was it?
Yeah.
And the first director at this school was Bob Nagel, who was our superintendent at Northwestern Lehigh after he left OCTI, which was the VOTEC back in those days. And so they're here 52 years. And our school, our students have always had the reputation of being the top-notch students that attend this school here at LCTI. It is the premier school in Pennsylvania and noted nationally as one of the best career and technical schools that exist. And we usually have anywhere from 1,000 to, 100 to 140 kids, I think, every year come here. So 50 years of that is, we're talking thousands of students that have come through here and all have gone out and become successful, prosperous business owners and citizens and graduates of the school, learning the trade and turning it into a business of their own, and well-known in this community and beyond. So thank you for Dr. Reno. I don't think she's back in here yet. She's still with her students for sponsoring this meeting tonight. And also the students, which I think are on their way home. Thank you for them and their parents for coming here. It's always nice to talk to them, and we're so proud of the kids for the choices that they made and the success that they're having in this school. So with that, I would ask Mrs. Holman if you have anything for the superintendent.
Only three things. A huge thank you to Stacy Eisenhorn. This is, I think it looks very nice and a lot of, but it is a lot of work to bring the meeting here and bring the recording and all the computers and set up dinner. And I know to Matt and Aileen who arranged the students and, you know, arranged their attendance here. We certainly appreciate that. It is something we haven't done for many years, probably more than three, I was thinking. But it is a great occasion for all of us, not only to be together, students to be able to showcase their labs, but their families to be here as well. As Lisa mentioned earlier, huge thanks to her and her staff for being able to organize this here, even around some of the obstacles that we did participate in. But we had three great labs. I hope that you enjoyed the welding lab, the diesel technology, and the teacher education lab, whichever one that you were able to see. They're just a small sampling. There's 40 plus programs here that students are able to choose from. And we do always have very good attendance in terms of LCTI, and our student performance, both academically as well as on our NOCDs, is always top notch in terms of the students that come here, take it seriously, and obviously choose it seriously as a good career. As Bill mentioned, it is the 50th, was 2 years ago, the 50th anniversary of LCTI, and we got to participate in a time capsule event at that time here. And lastly, just thank you to the students. You know, it's their evening, they come out to show you their lab. They're super proud of what they've been able to do. You know, they anxiously say, I don't know what I'm going to tell you, but anything, they all talked, as I'm sure, in all the labs and told you all about what they've learned, experiences they've had, field experiences that they've had, job opportunities they wish to pursue. And I think they're really proud, and we're really proud of them. That's it.
And I apologize, I did miss our teaching staff who's with us. We have teachers from our elementary school and middle school here this evening, representing our
One
and high school, representing our association. Thank you for coming tonight. Taking a look at what we have here at PCTI. Personnel, Mrs. Mattika, will you please take us through the personnel action?
I will, Mr. Jelliker, thank you. Rather short agenda tonight compared to previous months. There are 23 items for your approval tonight, our usual business items. Nothing, no retirements this time.
With that, would entertain a motion to personnel action.
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Senowitis.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Height. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye. Aye. Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving into policy, once again, Dr. Sisnovic, we have 100. These are important ones too. They're all about curriculum and instruction and delivery and textbooks and all that. So you walk us through those first reading.
Absolutely. So policies are as they were during the workshop. There are a couple revisions from a solicitor's review. So policy 108 had a very minor change, wordsmithing, as well as policy 109 included a couple other definitions underneath material resources. But other than that, they all remain as is, as we were in workshop, and we're ready for consideration.
Okay, would you have anything to say about the first reading of the policies for the first reading?
Yes, I reviewed them at the workshop meeting,
Okay.
provided a summary to the board that Friday. I'll gladly
That's
take
the-
any questions.
Those are the ones that we had to change.
Yes,
All right. There's no action required in that. But, let's take 4.02 and 4.03 together, the second reading and rescinding of the one policy involved with the section.
So moved.
Mr. Fassett. Second by Mr. Hernandez. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Moving on to operations. Art, would you like to just inform us about the floor pricing?
Yes, sir. The attached document here is just a breakdown of the core program and project that we approved at a previous meeting. And it's just here for one point of note or clarification, just so you know how the number got to the number that it is at 9.8. There is one difference. we decided to take out the fire alarm system and put it into the bid package for the auditorium project and site lighting, and to make it more prospective for a bidding contractor, electrical contractor to bid on it. Thought we'd get a better bargain in the open market for the fire alarm system. So we removed that from the McClure project, put it into that bid package, and that'll be a part of that package as well. But this is how the money breaks down to the $9.8 million that was approved. If there's any questions, I'd be glad to answer them. If not, it's just for your information. No action needed.
Are there any questions about the price breakdown?
What was the estimated value of the fire alarm system?
That was right in the range of 500,000. And that was a complete redo for the fire alarm. It was, nothing was getting reused. It was all replaced.
Any other questions? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No action required on that information, but let's take 5.02 and 5.03, which are the annual maintenance contract. I think that's water testing that we reviewed in our workshop, and the results from the lead testing, which.
Yeah. 5.02, the annual maintenance contract, that's for our chillers and our boilers. That does require you for board action. That's to renew the agreement under the CoStar program with McClure. And then the lead testing is just simply for reporting purposes only as per the school code. And that we have no notable issues in our water systems. They were all checked and we're good for this year.
Okay, we don't need to take any action on the testing, but let's move the annual maintenance contract.
Motion to approve 5.02.
Second by Mr. Weiser, second by Mr. Tassiano. Any comments or questions? All those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. Moving into district finances. We can take the mobile ed production agreement, which is a planetarium coming to Weissenberg. Can I come and see that? That sounds interesting.
Which one is that?
The planetarium.
Okay, I'm watching, I'm looking at the agenda on my phone because I can't get it on my computer. Yes, the planetarium, it's the dome that's coming, so we're excited to have that back. We haven't had it in a number of years, so the children will get to enter the dome and experience some planetarium.
Are there different different classes going through there? or is it-
Yes, all of the children are going through K through 5.
So it's not all one program, one assembly, they're going through. the
No, it will be a schedule that they'll go through, one class at a time, yes.
So we have that from the Student Activities Fund, and we also have the Prismatic Magic Agreement, which is a presentation. That. The cycle forms, field trip, which is a retroactive approval, and the Tiger Concession Fund transfer, which we discussed in the workshops for the purchase of 2 scooters. So I would entertain a motion for 6.01 through 6.04. Motion by Dr. Hunsaker,
Second.
second by Mr. Fatsinger. Are there any more comments or questions about those items?
The first 6.01 and 6.02 are new to the agenda, just for the simple fact that their deposits needed to be received prior to next month's board meeting.
That all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. 6:05 are the reports. Christie, anything you'd like to mention on the reports? And some workshop?
Nothing has changed since workshop.
Let's take the reports and the bills together. Anything about the bills that we ought to know?
No.
Unusual, okay, that was in front of us, and I would entertain a motion to accept the report and approve the payment of the bills, 6:05 and 6:06.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Passinger.
Second.
Second by Mr. Comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Enrollment report. Anything you'd like to point out on that?
The only difference is your non-public number is now under, that's the number we typically collect in October each year that Stacy does in our office. And so that is really the only change or addition that's on there for the month of October, so the number of students in non-pub is now added. Which is collected usually once a year.
Questions on enrollment? Foundation report, covered that. Anything else?
The only thing that I can think of that they did not mention is that teacher mini grant program will be up and running again this year. I do expect to receive some information on that shortly. So that will be going out to all of our staff. And they'll have the opportunity to apply.
Thank you. How much money is this grants worth?
Teachers can apply for up to $1,500.
Any questions? We'll move into committee reports. Let's do LCTI first.
Nothing to share, just hope everybody enjoyed the tour and the times at the different areas.
Okay, yeah, Dr. Lisa Greenwald is back with us. So we missed our welcome and appreciation, but is there anything you'd like to add to the LCTI report?
I could speak for hours, but I won't. I will just thank you all for taking time out to travel this far to visit LCTI. As you can tell from the tours, the students are very proud of their work, and we're very proud of what they do for us. And we want to thank you for your continued support as we continue to evolve and grow our program. So thank you.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. Our
Great
pleasure.
job. And moving into L-TRI-C, there is the president's report on our agenda that is interesting to read. Anything from Rec Commission?
Sorry. Just business as usual at the park. I will add that we started a fundraising program up at the for the Rec Commission. There, if you notice on the concession building, you go up to the park, we have some advertising signs, so you'll see some local businesses that started to participate in that program. So we have that up and running. We do have security cameras that now are live. Sadly, we had to do something to kind of curb some of the vandalism we've been seeing out there for the last couple of years. So those cameras are up and running and working pretty good. So other than that, open for business.
Thank you. And finally, but not least, intermediate.
So Dr. Ive is retiring in August after 13 years of service to the IU. So there will be a search for a new executive director. Actually, on Monday, they did the IU did an esports presentation. Something I think that would be great for our board to see. It's something that's really taken off the whole culture of kids doing esports. They're seeing an increase in attendance. And then the collaboration with the career readiness skills and playability skills. And so you have districts across Lehigh, Carbon, who are participating in that. And so there's scholarships. One of the kids talked about there's a potential for kids to like $16,000 in scholarships related to esports. So who knew, by playing video games and design, you could be eligible for that. And so it might be something interesting for them to come to present to our board, at least to see what they offer. That we can work with our kids to get involved with this opportunity.
Would that be a presentation from someone from the?
Yes, so we sat, it was Michael Dieter and I can't remember the other man's name. And they are curriculum and instruction. They do training through the IU, but they have spearheaded this and started it. And so kids are learning how to design and they're playing video games. And so I'm happy if it is the will of the board to go ahead and let Dr. Ive know that that's something just really interesting.
That's something that the board would like to see. How long presentation?
It's about 15 minutes.
We could do that in the presentations. Thank you.
Yep, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving into communications again. First on the floor.
You have a couple
Oh, yeah. All right, moving into open session. 801, we have the food service equipment grant, which is a retroactive approval that we discussed.
Yes, we were eligible, for it, and we did apply for the amount shown. Two items that we are going for are a pass-through refrigerator at the middle school and a mobile hot box for the high school. Both of those are replacement pieces of equipment which we need. So hopefully we get the money, but it does rank by free and reduced eligibility. So hopefully there's money left by the time it gets down to us.
We do have to take action to approve the application, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I would entertain a motion.
So
Second.
Mrs. Enterprises. Questions? All those in favor, aye? Opposed, no? All right, thank you. Under new business, we have a piano donation. Background for that?
The background I think is on, the information, it is a piano that is being donated to Northwestern Elementary's program. The information from the donor, Charles Bauer, is on your agenda. As is traditional, any donation we need to take action on, so we do. I believe Mr. Reeves wants the piano, so we do ask that you take action on accepting the donation. Mrs. Foley has anything else to add? She's more than welcome.
It's actually going to be a piano used by Mrs. Crum to replace, or replace, but to add to her K1 and 2 programming. Yes.
A motion to accept the donation.
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Knight, second by Mr. Fassian.
Did I second? Or did you?
Second by Mr.
I was
Fassian.
gonna take credit.
Comments or questions? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. We have a new piano. Future ready presentation. Dr. Cisneros.
It is built to us, but it's just a sending it from now.
I don't like this because I'm going to be on camera. I noticed that this thing in front of me, I was wondering where the
Yeah.
camera.
Yeah, it's like
bouncing.
Well, no, I was,
Listens to your
I-
voice.
yeah, it's voice recognition and then it points, so it's actually, Becky and I will share the camera on this presentation. You okay with that? All right. We need to get one for our board, right? No. All right, so let me see if my clicker works. All right, perfect. Tonight I'll review the future ready comprehensive process. As you may remember, before 2020, it used to be called the strategic plan. Every 3 years, we must develop a plan of action and revalidate those important statements of the mission, vision, and values. You're probably all wondering, like, didn't we just go through this? The answer is yes. We did this less than 2 years ago. We're a phase 1 district. And because the state then delayed our future ready comprehensive plan due to COVID and them switching to this new model, it kind of got us out of sequence to put us back on sequence to make us do it in an accelerated timeline again. It's intended really to focus on continuous improvement, and it really goes beyond student data. For example, this year we're going to be using a tool called the PA School Climate Survey, which I'll talk about in a second. Here's the process timeline. It'll start now. It'll go into March. We plan to send out surveys to collect student, instructional staff, and parent data for the next 2 weeks. We are then going to work with the CLIU and Tom Stetcher, those of you that attended our opening day. They're going to help us unpack the data, identify our strengths and some opportunities that we may be able to capitalize on for improvement. We'll then work to develop the district and other required plans and present the final plan to the board in February. Per state code, the plan needs to be posted 28 days publicly prior to its submission in March. Let's see, this is something we're extremely proud of, and I hope this is very recognizable to you folks. This is our portrait of a graduate. It was developed in 2020. And it was developed through the input of 315-ish alumni, community members, business members. It really describes the skills and habits of mind we want our students to have when they leave us. Since its inception, we've been using this as a focal point for our district efforts. It's been that guiding post that we talked about and was for our previous Future Ready plan, and it will be once more. One of the main purposes of our Future Ready comprehensive plan is to revisit the district's important statements, and that's our mission, vision, and values. The current statements, as I mentioned, were finalized by a diverse group of stakeholders literally less than 2 years ago. We still believe the statements reflect the ideals of the school community, and so we're not going to refocus on them for this time around. Just to remind everybody what those statements are, our mission statement is to develop a community-minded learner who is prepared to grow and thrive in an ever-changing world. Our vision statement is the Northwestern School District will create an environment where all students participate in highly engaging, relevant experiences. And isn't that more so being here in LCTI today? Together, we will utilize our collective talents to provide opportunities for our students to demonstrate their ability to be effective communicators, collaborators, and problem solvers in order to contribute as valuable members of society. Our agreed upon shared values at the time, and still are, is that we believe in shared responsibility, the development of a whole child, continuous learning, individual potential, embracing our community, and open and honest communication. On the screen are a list of data sources that we consider when we are developing the plan. We look at college and career measures. We look at the local state assessments. I'm not going to read the entire list, but here's some of the key data points that we do use. However, as I mentioned before, we are going to really leverage the PA School Climate Survey this year. Using the PA School Climate Survey will allow us to get feedback rather from a broader range of students, parents, and staff members. Typically in a comprehensive process, we put out an invitation and folks come in person, we work through committees. You really missed the boat on a lot of people. And so through this PA School Climate Survey, we're going to be able to really capture a lot of information from those stakeholders. It measures 3 key areas of the district, and I have them up there for you to see. So it will measure the student engagement and support, social emotional learning, and a safe and respectful climate. And each one of those groups will be asked questions, and then we will be provided scores, climate scores, on how the district fares with all of those and those groups.
Troy, we interrupt to ask questions, or you want them at the end?
Absolutely.
The questions that are offered, so obviously we'll take them as parents, community members. Is that data then shared with your staff, broken down, into each building? How is it used? Not only in the comprehensive plan, but at the individual buildings for goal setting?
Sure. So this is a 3-year plan. So we're going to take that data. We're going to work with the IU and Tom Stetcher to really unpack that data and understand what it means. A lot of the focus coming out of COVID and like you've heard, like SEL and some of these things, that's in climate, how are people feeling about our school community? So we will look at it from a district-wide perspective. We will also look at a building level perspective, and we'll set a course for things that we need to do to try to address those improvement areas at those levels over the next 3 years.
And then that will be shared publicly, and we'll have access to the questions with the corresponding results, correct?
So we will provide the board as much information as you'd like us to provide. So during our presentation in February, what we were going to plan to do is provide a summary of what that data was, where we were, then the Future Ready comprehensive plan that supports it.
Great, thank you.
And you want to mention that this was also for those of you who participated in the audit. Did you want to mention
Yeah, I was gonna mention, but go ahead.
that? Okay.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention too, if you remember, we were fortunate enough to be one of the last districts probably ever to go through a state audit. And in that state audit was a recommendation that the district do a school climate survey. And so, you know, building upon that recommendation was also one of the rationales of doing the survey. All right, so next steps, here's a key milestones in this whole process. We have our PA school climate survey, which is going to go out for the next 2 weeks. There will be the plan development from November to February. Board presentation, we're aiming for February 15th, in which time we'll do our 28 public day review and then plan to submit the overall future ready comprehensive plan in March of 2023. And it's weird to even see 2023 at this point. I can't even believe it. Is there any other questions I could take?
Sorry, I have one more.
No, please.
I don't know that this is part of the comprehensive plan, but the pathways to graduation. And I can't remember, was that something that was ever presented? Earlier
And it
on,
was also included in our program of studies. Is there something specific you'd like to hear about? Because part of it is in our program of studies and part of it was presented.
the statistical, like at the end of the year, percentages of what that looks like.
I didn't know that we've ever presented the pathway percentages.
It just starts.
It just starts this year, so we presented the pathways and how we intend to be in compliance and the process in our program of studies, but certainly as we get towards the end of the year, we can give you ideas of which pathway students selected as their pathway to graduation. Accuracy.
Which pathway they, selected. I mean,
Qualified
that
under.
they qualify under, yes.
I don't know if selected or qualified under is probably.
But we won't be able to make that report until next October. So while I will have numbers, I don't know yet, I have not yet seen what that report is going to look like. There are some open hours, open office hours running on Tuesday mornings right now. So we're visiting those as I'm able to, and as soon as we see the report, we'll have a better idea what that's going to look like. But we'll actually make the report, the first report next October for this year's senior class. But I've got general numbers. I mean, I can. That's.
Yeah, and I think as you look at the comprehensive plan and future ready, and that's why I'm asking, because all of that really, I think, is important. When you look at your data and your goals, just to be sure that we're looking at that and making sure we can assist in eliminating obstacles for kids whenever possible.
I feel very, very strongly that we are in a very good position with our graduation pathways. I think right now we're down to 4 students out of the 100 and almost 87 seniors who are not yet in a pathway. However, we have not yet finished the work that we had to do with all of those students. So for example, we've got the ASVAB test coming to Northwestern Lehigh again for the first time in a long time. We just gave PSATs again to a group of individuals. So we're currently working on the 10th and 11th graders as well. I meet monthly with our principals in the area, and I feel really strongly that we are in a very solid place with our graduation pathways for students.
If Aileen did say that, I would certainly say we talk to the superintendent, even at a level with LCTI folks, but certainly some of the information comes from them. And Aileen has a very good handle on what our pathways are for our particular students and how many students might have barriers. And there's also some school code legislation that has changed over the last year about that barriers for students that might be moving around, et cetera. I don't even know that we'll have to access that because I think our high school does a great job with trying to find a pathway for a kid to be successful on one of those, but certainly countywide at principals level and countywide at our level, meaning superintendents as well as Dr. Greenwald. I'm very confident in the pathways we have and Aileen's knowledge of where kids are that do not have a pathway. It's down to a very limited number of students.
What is the name Future Ready for the school chief? Used to be the strategic plan. Is that unique to Northwestern, or is every school doing a Future Ready?
It's everyone.
And the same
So-
format?
Yes, so they shifted from traditional strategic planning in 2020. They changed the entire tool over, and that was one of the reasons why they pushed us in terms of a delay. And then with COVID, they provided like another delay. But every school has to go through future ready comprehensive planning every 3 years.
No, we really wanted to give you a notice because when the surveys hit, obviously, we'd like to have you have a knowledge of why we're doing things. And so the surveys will be very public in terms of us sending out notices and saying we're asking for your feedback on things. And so it's more of an FYI, this is the first step in the process and why we're collecting the data when you see the kind of notices go out, asking for people to complete surveys.
Is there any board action that you can think of? This is just information. Any other questions before we?
The survey is standardized across the state, or what's the?
Yeah, it's a step. Districts can elect to add additional questions to the baseline survey. We are just administering the baseline survey.
Okay, we'll move on to the calendar. Discussed before. Take action on that.
You do, so we can get it all replaced, as long as there's no changes. This is the same that resembles the same calendar we have had historically.
Any questions
I
about
don't
that?
hear any changes. We brought it back the same.
Next year, the same as this year. Okay, I'll take a motion to approve the calendar. Mrs. Sanavadis, motion by Mrs. Sanavadis, second by
Second.
Mrs. Potts. Comments or questions? All in favor, aye. Calendar. Board committee. Board committees. About that. And we'll move into courtesy of floor. And I think we, before, takes us back to board secretary.
Nothing tonight.
Street and building shipment. Mrs. Snow.
All right, so I will try. I'm out of my element here, I'm not in the normal seat, so let me see how I want to do this. So I'll go online first. And I do see one person online, which is Mr. Zimmerman. See if he's, Mr. Zimmerman, are you there? He's there. I'm gonna go to Mr. Givler first.
Good evening, members of the board, administrative staff, and understand gathering. I don't want to steal Mr. Zimmerman's thunder if he.
He's just joining
if he is
now.
online. Okay. Can I
Steal it, go ahead.
hold off? till
His
he-
mic is on, but Jason, Mr. Givler just gave your full announcement.
That's fine by me. Sorry, I just had to join as a panelist and my computer is going a little bit slow. Are we at sharing? I had the Phillies out of the corner of my eye too, so are we at the sharing part of the presentation?
We're losing anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, they are, but the Yankees are coming on now, so we're good. I'm proud to report, I just got back from DeSales this afternoon. Our boys cross country team are once again our Colonial League regular season and league meet champions. We had two boys place, two boys medal. Matt Santana was a silver medalist. Sam Bauer came in fourth. Our highest girl was Angelina Klein. She came in 11th. So real successful season thus far for all of our sport teams. Obviously, field hockey, girls soccer, and boys soccer all competing in the semifinals on Thursday. I guess that's tomorrow. And hopefully they make the championship games on Saturday. I believe we just selected the cast for Elf Junior, which will be our winter, or we call it the fall drama, but our winter show in December, beginning of December. So we're a pretty busy schedule right now. And then obviously winter sports starts on the 18th. So again, everybody's doing very well. Volleyball is right now preparing for districts, and we're in real good shape. So that's really all I need to report at this point in time.
Back to you, Mr. Givler.
All right, so no thunder stolen. I do want to congratulate Mr. Zimmerman and the Athletics and Activities Office on a wonderful homecoming dance. We had record numbers. We had over 438 students purchase tickets for the dance. And 95% of those students came to the dance. So well over 400 students. Originally planned for our cafeteria, we had to move it to the gymnasium, given the numbers that we had. DJ amazing, and the students enjoyed some pretzels from Philly Pretzel Factory, some Gatorade, some water, some candy. They really enjoyed themselves. And when the lights came on in the gym and everyone was gone, I must admit that I walked around to see if any more holes were in the floor based on how enthusiastically those students were dancing. So we had a great time on Saturday night, and I also want to thank our guidance counselors and our faculty and staff that joined us as chaperones. Other than that, the high school is doing as well as it ever has, and we are well on our way towards the end of our first marketing period coming up very shortly. Hard to believe that that's soon, but first week in November. Thank you.
Mr. Rhodes, while you're next.
Just a thank you to LCTI for having us down here. It's always a pleasure to come and see the classrooms, as that's sort of in my range of field in preview. So thank you, and nothing further. Thank you.
He was recruiting diesel students.
He was recruiting,
Yeah.
yes. They did fight.
No, they didn't. They weren't interested.
They have friends, that's spread the word. I just equally want to thank our students who joined us this evening and were willing to take their personal time to come and share their labs and their career skills with us. And thank you to Matt for picking those students and for working with them to get them prepared for tonight. It's not really in their wheelhouse to give a presentation, but they did a really great job. They really did. We're very proud of our students who come to LCTI. We work really hard with them. They work really hard for us and for you. I'm very proud to announce that we have 174 students going to LCTI this year, which is record numbers in my time, and that's almost 25% of our student population. So it's just really a wonderful program, and we're happy that our kids come here and trust in us that they are getting a really quality education from all of you here at LCTI. So thank you. I'm very proud of them.
Just a thank you to LCTI for hosting us tonight and showcasing some of the good work that you're doing with our students. There's a lot more going on here, we know. Unfortunately, we don't have the time to see everything, but I look forward to this every year. So the kids did a great job.
I thought the girls did a great job in the welding workshop. It was very interesting. Wish my son had those opportunities.
Thank you to LCTI. School's changed a lot in 2 years that I've been graduating.
Yes, thank you to LCTI for having us tonight, and just a few updates in the building. Certainly a super busy time of year. October 28th will be our fall festival. I think it's Northwestern's as well. So that's being planned in conjunction with our PTO. So we thank our volunteers for helping us out with that wonderful event. The children are in for a great treat. November 2nd will be our safety day. That is being planned in conjunction with the Weisenberg Fire Department, the Citronia Ambulance, Rodale, Lehigh Valley Health Network. We have a lot of community members coming in to help educate our students about health and wellness that day. Another great day coming up, November 11th will be our Veterans Day. Last year we did a parade of heroes, and it was so well received that we're adding that and combining it with our assembly that we've done in the past. And then we're having Dr. Robert Snyder. He's an author who actually was served in the Army Reserves for 15 years and was deployed in Iraq. We had him about 6 years ago, so he's coming back to us. And he has written some children's books. So he will be with us that day. So anyone who is available, if you'd like to join us that day, it's a full day of events. So even if you can come in for a little bit of time, please come on in. And then in November, as Matt said, the end of the marking period is coming, and we will be holding parent-teacher conferences, which is also a very busy time, but a great time to be able to share the progress the children have made since the beginning of the year. So busy times.
I'm going to repeat a lot of what she said, so I apologize. We had our safety day at the beginning of this month, and it was fantastic. We had a lot of fun. Mrs. Yadish even came down to see all the fun. So it's always great to have community volunteers and parent volunteers come in and have a unique and exciting experience for kids. We have our fun run coming up this Friday, what's over at the rec fields. It's a color run, and our students are really looking forward to that. And if you are in the area, come on over. You'll probably see me dressed as a park ranger, driving around in an ATV. October 28th, we're having our Fall Fun Festival, similar to Weisenberg, and we are also having a Veterans Day ceremony on November 11th at 9:30 in the morning. Every grade level has a role to play in that special ceremony, but we will be featuring our 4th grade as that is their big performance for the year. We also, as tradition, will be doing a Veterans Wall of Honor. So if you have any veterans that you would like to have honored, please let me know, and I will be happy to make sure that their name gets placed on our walls.
Dr. Bureau, thank you for having us tonight, and we will be back next week with our 8th grade students to tour the facilities, our 8th grade next Wednesday back here at LCTI. Looking forward to that, so it's a great morning for us, so thank you. In addition, next week, our 6th grade will be attending a retreat to Camp Fowler, and as an admin team, we were there this summer, had a great time, so we thought we'd bring our 6th graders back for some outdoor activities, some team building, and problem solving activities. So that's next Thursday, I believe. His colleagues looking forward to that. And no, next Tuesday.
You're gonna go Thursday, we're all going Tuesday.
Yeah, it's a busy week, so looking forward to the cold weather outside. So they're looking forward to that. Also, next week is Red Ribbon Week. The theme this year is Celebrate Life, Live Drug-Free. And we're also incorporating social media into that, the dangers and effects and addictions of social media. So we have the Center of Humanistic Change coming in to do presentations at each grade level. And lastly, we had a sexting presentation last week. Christine Murphy, the Senior Deputy District Attorney, came in and presented to each grade level, again, on the risk and effects of sexting. So our students did a great job. They were very attentive and asked great questions. So busy week at the middle school next week. Thank you again.
Thanks, Dr. Fremont, for having us. I just want to publicly thank Caitlin Brooks for her 8 years of service in the district. She's our executive secretary in my office. I'll say AKA my sidekick. She's been very helpful for me when I started in the role. If you know Caitlin, you know she's eloquent, hardworking, polished. It's a tremendous loss for us, for the district. So her last day is October 31st. We're currently looking to replace her. I really know everyone's replaceable. I feel Caitlin is not, so whoever comes into the role will have big shoes to fill. So I thank Caitlin for her wonderful 8 years of service.
All right, so that brings it to me. Dr. Greenwald, thanks for hosting. Thanks for a lovely gift too. Definitely looking forward to using it. I do want to publicly thank Miss Jean McNamara and the Allentown West Rotary for supporting our Tigers that are experiencing food insecurity. They've restarted our snack pack program for the year. She was in today. And I just thought it was important to recognize her monthly. She and students from the Interact Club come and pack snacks for students that we send home to help them out over the weekend. I also wanted to recognize on that same vein, the Low Hill Food Pantry as well. I've also learned they're doing a lot of great work, continue to do a lot of great work supporting families in need at the UCC Low Hill Church. So I just wanted to publicly recognize both of those entities. And then finally, I just want to thank our teachers for being here. Mrs. George, Mrs. Calloway, Mrs. Myers, thank you for taking time out of your busy night away from your families and kids and supporting us today and our students. So thank you.
Thank you for the invite.
Only two things. Certainly thank you to LCTI. This wasn't here when I mentioned it earlier, but huge thank you. I know it's a lot of coordination to arrange it here. Thank you, Andrea, Alyssa, and Laura for coming and joining us. And one thing that Mr. Jellifer mentioned, actually, he mentioned Mr. Noggle earlier in the meeting as one of the four first executive directors before he came to us. I learned at my last SAC meeting that Lisa actually invited, Dr. Greenwell invited back Bob Noble at the opening day this past year to kind of reminisce about what LCTI was and what it is now, along with certainly a motivational speaker for their opening day. So I thought you mentioned Bob Noble earlier, but that's how he is one of the people who opened LCTI's opening day this year. I just thought that was an interesting little circle. Tidbits.
So Bob Novel was the first director, and the first GOC chairperson was Snyder. Carl Snyder was the first GOC chairperson. So we have a connection with this.
I don't have anything further. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just kind of similar echoes, thank you LCTI for inviting us today. It was very nice to be here once again. I'd like to thank the students who came to show us around. I very much appreciate it. And thank the teachers for joining us tonight as well. So thank you.
Yeah, again, I'm glad we made the decision to come back. I really think this might be the third time in my 6 or 7 years on the board that we've come here. You know, it's a great experience to come. I really love seeing what's happening here. I think the community needs to know more about, you know, the facilities here. It's great to hear that 25% of our high school students are participating, and it just seems like a really high number. My sister came here in 1986. It wasn't called LCTI, it was called VOTEC at the time. So it's taken me a few years to adopt the new name, but I really appreciate the invitation and thanks for having us.
I also wanted to say thank you for having us. My brother came here and he did electrical. So it was very nice to kind of walk around, and he is now a chief in the Navy, and he's stationed down in Virginia. So it was very nice to kind of see where he was from and now where he is. And thank you to the teachers for coming. And I also wanted to recognize you guys for bringing back the benchmarking. I know that it's a lot of work, and it's very nice that you guys are able to do that again. And as a parent of a young elementary school student, it's very helpful for me to have gotten the letters and kind of showing where my kids were, especially after COVID. It's something that I've been worried about. So thank you very much for all of your efforts. And I'm glad that I can share that with you tonight. But hopefully the other teachers will hear it too. So thank you.
I echo all the thanks for having us. I had the privilege to come here in my other role for 15 years, and it's great to see kids come and they have no idea. You can tell them what LCTI is, and then they come and they're like, oh, I'm so going there. And it's really kind of, it's nice to see that kids. I just wanted to share, I attended an unfortunate event last week for the loss of a parent within our community. And, you know, it was nice to see some of our teachers, educators, personnel there to support our students and their families. And so what a great community. And so thank you for those who do that, because if no amount of money makes you do it because you believe in your kids and your families. And so I greatly appreciate that.
Just thank you to LCTI for hosting us. This is my first time up here, so it was a great experience.
I'd like to also thank LCTI for hosting us here. It was great. I think I've been here 3 times too. The welding lab was very impressive. I know, Todd, we were talking a little bit about years back, we were talking about that lab, the improvements and stuff, and to see it come to what it is today, it's very impressive. I also had my sister come here and graduate back in the 70s, much older than I am. She came through LCTI. Well, it was VOTEC back then too. So,
Thank you, Dr. Greenwald. We really appreciate it. If, please, if you get a chance, take a look at this. It's really informative, and it's something quite interesting to look at, and it explains a lot. Just thank you for having us.
Thank you as well. Nice seeing you again. And it's always a pleasure to see the excitement and enthusiasm of the students that go here when they're explaining their programs and talking to us about what they do here at CTI. Thank you. We will have a short executive session for personnel immediately following this meeting, and Motion by Mrs.
Second.
Second.
Taking over, right?